Hi, today I'm going to talk about the Second Amendment of the Constitution. The Second Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. The Constitution was written in 1787 and then it was ratified in 1791 to include the Bill of Rights, which helped outline personal freedoms and helped limit the government's control, but it also helped create the federal government. The Second Amendment states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment came about because a few states had a similar amendment in their own constitutions, and the committee took these two distinct parts of this amendment, the individual right to own weapons and the need for a militia of ordinary citizens, and they put it together to create one single amendment. However, Congress meant for these to be seen as two separate protections, a militia and the right to bear arms. The Founding Fathers were very meticulous in how they laid out the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment is the freedom of speech, press, religion, and assembly. The Second Amendment was there to protect the first. The first was the most important, but the second protected it. The Second Amendment is probably the most complicated of all of the amendments. This amendment has been looked at, has been reviewed, has been questioned, and many have deemed it obsolete, defunct, and an unused provision. This is because many people don't believe the Founding Fathers could have pictured the types of weapons we have today. Some people said it was about hunting, or that they meant to have an army. However, Joel Berlow said, only tyrannical governments disarm their people. This would mean that the Second Amendment had everything to do with people controlling their own government, not the government controlling their own people. The most notable Supreme Court case regarding the Second Amendment is D.C. v. Heller, which happened in 2008, in which the Supreme Court said a person's right to bear arms is unconnected with service in a militia. However, the Second Amendment has been seen in a different light today. Many people believe that it was meant for hunting or for military. Senator Edward Kennedy said this, "Our complex society requires rethinking of the proper role of firearms in modern America." The Second Amendment is the most dividing of the amendments. Many people have questioned why the Second Amendment was so important, or have said that it has no importance today. However, we the people are not the servants of the government. The government is the servants of the people. We were given this right to not only be able to protect ourselves, but to protect ourselves from our own government. And the Second Amendment is one of the most divisive amendments of them all. People can never agree on what it meant, what they meant by writing it, and what it means today in modern society. Some people say tyrannical governments don't happen anymore. That would never be a reason to need it. Well, they do, and they still happen. And what's to say that it won't ever happen again? These men who wrote that amendment lived through years of being under the foot of the British government. And they wanted their people to never fear their government, because they would know they were not the servants of their government, but the rulers of their government.